What's up guys, my name is André Brown. I'm a wedding and portrait photographer, and today we're here inside of my studio and we're going to be testing out some new products from MagMod. Now in truth, I have not seen the product yet, but I am familiar with what it is, but I have it right here. Let's crack it open and see what we got. This is the MagMod XL Professional Strobe Kit. Now, if you're familiar with MagMod, then you already know that they're typically known for creating lighting modifiers for small lights like speed lights and mono lights like the AD200s and the FJ200s. But it looks like MagMod is getting inside of the studio game, so let's take a peek at what they have inside. So as you can see, it comes inside of the typical case that MagMod uses for their soft boxes. Let's see what we have inside. Zipper across the top. Now, just like with their smaller light modifiers, we have a grid, two different size grids here, as well as the MagSphere. We've got some gels as well, quarter CTO, half CTO, and full CTO, as well as a reflector that kind of pops out in typical MagMod fashion. So today we're gonna be here playing around in the studio, creating some magic with these products. Stay tuned and let's check out what we get. All right guys, so today what we're gonna do is we're gonna run a 2-light setup. The first light here is gonna be our MagBox 42. This is the largest MagBox that they offer. And then back here, this is where we're gonna use the MagMod XL, the new product that we're testing out today. So right now, I only have the reflector on it, but we're gonna play with some gels, we're gonna play with some grids and just kind of get a feel for what the product is like. So let's get to it. Looks great. Straighten out a little bit for me. There we go. You can still like lean, but just don't lean as hard. There we go. Square on to me. Actually turn the body towards the light more. There we go. Cool. Take this hand right here, stick it in the pocket. There we go. Just like that. That's right here. More square back towards me. Actually, let's bring in the stool. There we go. Have a seat for me. 1 foot up, 1 foot down. There we go. Slightly ahead. There we go. Perfect. Right there. Chin up just a tad. Take your face this way. There we go. Right there. So as you can see, we have this highlight here on the left side of his face that we're getting from the Mag reflector from the XL kit. So what I'm actually want to do is I want to reduce that down a little bit more and then add in a 20 or 30 degree grid so you can see how all of the products work together. So now we put on a 40 degree grid and we're going to take the same shot, and then now you'll be able to see what it looks like now that we have the grid on. Now as you can see here on the left side of his face, that highlight that we have from the XL reflector is much smaller now that we have that grid on there. That gives us the ability to be able to control the light so much more than what we had before, and it just helps us to get to a better result overall because of the fact that we can control light so much better. Now let's go ahead and pop on one of the gels and see what that looks like. So this time, now that we have the gel inside of the Mag reflector, I'm actually gonna move it a little bit further into frame. That way, when I take the final picture, you'll be able to see the actual light with the gel, and it'll just add a little bit more visual interest to the overall picture. Step this way just a little bit, too much, come back, right there. All right, so now that we've gotten the pictures with the half CTO on it, we're actually gonna throw the grid back on it just so we can control the light a little bit more. And as you've been able to see from the images that we've already taken, even though that this is a corrective gel, it's still giving us color, which is giving us a lot of visual interest inside of our image. So we're gonna throw this on there, use some of that orange highlight from the half CTO to, you know, give a nice little separation from the background, and then see what images we get from there. Right there, perfect. Don't lean it so much. Yeah, there we go. Like, loosen it up. All right, cool. Yeah, give me the lean, just not as hard. Right there. Yep, there we go. Perfect. Yeah, let me actually have you have a seat. All right, so since we put the grid on, obviously when we grid anything, it actually reduces down our light output a little bit. So I did have to take our power up on the MagMod XL. So I'm actually just gonna zoom into this with my 780-200 and get a nice little headshot, and let's see what we get. Relax into it a little bit more. Chin down a little, right there, perfect. The light that we're getting right here, at least the way that I have it, is giving a little bit more of a highlight on the side of his head. I'm actually just gonna turn his head the other direction. That way we can have that light illuminating the back side of his hair as opposed to reflecting off of the front of his head. So now that we've gotten pictures with our MagBox 42 here being our main light, what I actually want to do is use the XL kit, this reflector, just as one hard light source, and then we'll use that to see what images that we can create. All right, so now that we swapped out our modifier, we're actually gonna go bare light with the reflector just directly onto our subject and see what we have. Now I know a lot of people are super scared of hard light. Hard light is nothing to be scared of. We're actually just gonna expose for the highlights with the background that we have. As you can see, it's coming out, it's pointed directly at him, but we are gonna get some light onto the backdrop, which is completely fine in this case, but I think we'll get some great portraits. There we go. And then his eyes and face this way. There we go, perfect. Bring the hands down a little bit lower. More, so I can get the eye, chin down. Right there, perfect. Now we have one last modifier inside of the kit that I want to throw in. Now we've been shooting with just the bare reflector here, but we can actually go in and modify it with the giant sphere. So if you're used to the sphere that we use for speed lights, there's also a giant sphere in the kit that we can use with this reflector. Cool. Take a little slight step back for me. There we go. Come this way just a tad. Turn for me. There we go. So what I want to do really quick is take one of the CTO gels, pop it inside of the sphere so we can, see what it looks like, and maybe I'll actually put it behind him and backlight it to maybe look like the sun, and let's see what result we get. So if you see here that since we added that CTO in with the sphere, we're getting this nice orange tone that's falling onto the backdrop, as well as just cascading throughout the picture. Now I don't have a light on him right now like we did earlier, so I'm actually just gonna go ahead and pop up another strobe with our 42-inch softbox, and we'll see what we get. All right, so now I have my 42-inch softbox set up where we had it before, and I just moved the reflector with the MagSphere on it to the other side, just so I can get that separation of light. I got the highlight on one side, and then I'll have the rim light with our warm tone on the other side, and let it bleed onto the background. Bring that face up, there we go, perfect. That looks good. And the results that we're getting right now look fantastic, but I just got an idea for something else, so let's pop on over and make a quick change. Now, as you can see, I collapsed the reflector down a little bit so I can change the trajectory of how the light's coming out. But I put the sphere back on here, and we're actually just gonna use this on the backdrop, and we'll put our subject in front. That way we can get a nice little orange backlight behind him for some separation and color on the backdrop. So as you can see here, I just have on the backlight, and what we did with that gel and having the sphere on the back, we have this rich color that's on our backdrop. It's giving us some nice separation. Now we're gonna bring in our key light again, illuminate our subject, and see what we get. This way. So as you can see, MagMod has come through big with this new XL Professional Strobe Kit. In a relatively short amount of time, we were able to move around to maybe about 4 or 5 different light setups without really having to do much work at all. So if you're used to the MagMod system and you like this XL kit, then head over to magmod.com and pick yours up today.